One of the greatest deceptions on the planet right now is the deception and illusion that we are just male, that we are just female. When in reality, the spirit has a body and a nature to it that is so much more expansive than that which our physical body, this body, is expressing right now. And the game of the Archons, or the rulers, written about in the Nag Hammadi texts, discovered in 1945 in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, believed to be written about 400 AD, they talk about our true creation. And they talk about the body being molded out of the earth by these Archons. But our body inhabiting a spiritual nature to it. And there's a story about the spiritual Eve going into the body of Eve, after, of course, they created Adam, or Adamu in the Sumerian texts. And so, the physical world, body consciousness, things in this realm can be manipulated. And there's a major blind spot to that. The inversion of information is taking place now, as more and more information is unraveling about the patriarchy, the male domination of women over time, and all these other things. It's being inverted into a false truth that some people are regurgitating and saying to others, and using to somehow explain away easily why things are the way that they are. And there's a lot of women out there that have been hurt by men over the years that have come up with this understanding that the only reason the world is the way that it is because of men, or men raping women. And I hear this a lot, and there's a lot of truth to the suppression of the sacred feminine. But not just the sacred feminine inside women, but also inside men. The feminine energy. Not so much the female sex created by the Archons, but the actual spirit of feminine energy, which is beyond what we see in the physical, including some of the expressions of beauty. And this long-standing deception of how the Archons have created these false gods for people to worship lives on today and is still evident. Because if people are succumbing to the illusion of separation, saying that half the human population is the reason why the world that it is, or some variant of it, maybe men from a certain part of the planet are part of the problem. To some people, maybe women from a certain part of the planet or a certain country are part of the problem. This is all deception. And when you demonize groups, and when you propagandize and put out information in this wide world of all this distortion, all this fragmentation of consciousness, all this inverted data, you end up with an argument in someone's mind as to why they should remain silent about the suffering of others. Especially if those others happen to be members of groups that have already been demonized and programmed into their mind through the illusion of separation. It's their fault. It's what she did. It's what he did. And it goes back and forth, and it gets sick. It gets sick when you mix the hate of a certain sex combined with the hate of a perceived different race. There are differences between us on a physical level in terms of our ancestry, but there are commonalities to humanity that humanity still needs to come to terms with in terms of our likeness to each other and how unique we all are. We know you're unique. We're all unique. We all have a fingerprint that has its own identity to it. In a world of billions of people, they still use fingerprints. So there's a blind spot on our individuality, and there are people generalizing others, and there are people that are putting whole groups in boxes, and unfortunately that's what people think I'm doing when I address the programming itself, because they identify with the programming, which is the worst thing that you can do. As a man, the worst thing that you can do is hear a man criticizing or a woman criticizing someone that obsesses on violence and destruction and killing. It would be unwise to think that that is a slam against all men. However, if you talk about the behavior of some women in particular, their inclination to be with dominators and abusers on a regular basis, and then to be in that relationship for 20 years and then come out of it and say all men are this way because of these horrible things this man did to me, and then they'll describe the man as reptilian, alien, a gray. There are many stories that many women have about supposed alien encounters with men. And then there are some interesting encounters that some men have had with some women that have been very troubling and mind-blowing in terms of our vast learning of the state of human consciousness and the human condition. How quick someone can run to blame someone for something they haven't done, or show jealous traits, make accusations, and so-and-so's doing this, and so-and-so has that intention. It's all very it's all very heavy to deal with when you look at the fact that there's still this denial that there are deceptions going on to keep this program going of blaming this other group.